Are you standing in a big box store right now, staring at a wall of air conditioners, and you genuinely have no idea which one to bring home? I have watched folks get this wrong more times than I can count. And I do not mean a little wrong. I mean buying a unit that never cools the room properly, running up the electric bill, and replacing the whole thing in 5 years because nobody told them the truth up front. I have spent years paying attention to what actually works in real homes, watching what lasts and what fails, and talking with people who service these machines for a living. The answer to which AC is best is not the one the sales floor is pushing this week, and it is probably not the most expensive one on the shelf either. Here is the honest reframe. Most folks ask the wrong question. They walk in asking which brand is best or which unit has the most features, and they walk out with something that was never right for their space. The question you actually need to answer first is what type of unit fits your situation, and then size it correctly. Everything else is secondary. The marketing around Wi-Fi connectivity, air purification modes, and app controls is mostly noise. Those features cost you money up front and give the unit more things to break down over time. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which type of AC unit fits your home and your situation, what size you actually need, which efficiency ratings are worth paying for, and which are overkill, and what to look for in a brand that will still be running 10 years from now. You will walk away from this knowing more than the person trying to sell you one. If you want to go even deeper on this, there is a full ebook in the description below that walks through all of this in one place. Check it out at your own pace. Right now, let us get into it. Start with the types, because the type of unit you choose determines everything else. There are 4 main categories most homeowners will consider: window units, portable units, mini-split systems, and central air. Each one has a real role to play. None of them is universally best. The right one depends on your home, your budget, and how you actually live. Let us start with window units, because they get unfairly dismissed by folks chasing something shinier. A window air conditioner, installed correctly in the right size window, is one of the most cost-effective ways to cool a single room. I am talking about a bedroom, a home office, a den where you spend most of your time. A decent window unit in the 8,000 to 12,000 BTU range will handle most standard size rooms, runs somewhere between $200 and $500 depending on the brand and features, and can last well over a decade with basic maintenance. Cleaning the filter every few weeks, checking the seal around the unit once a year. The efficiency on modern window units has improved considerably. Look for units with an Energy Star rating. That label is not marketing fluff. It means the unit has been tested against federal efficiency standards and will cost you measurably less to run over time. The honest downside to window units is installation. If you have a casement window or a window that does not open the traditional way, you are going to run into trouble. And aesthetically, some folks just do not want the unit visible from the street. Those are fair objections. But if neither applies to you, a window unit is a smart, affordable choice that the industry does not promote loudly because the margins are thin. To put a real number on what the Energy Star difference means over time, a window unit running roughly 8 hours a day through a 5-month cooling season in a state like Georgia or Tennessee will consume somewhere around 500 to 700 kilowatt hours over the course of that summer. A non-certified unit drawing even 15% more power adds up to roughly $30 to $50 per summer, which sounds modest until you multiply it across a decade and across multiple units in the same house. A family running 3 window units, one in the primary bedroom, one in a child's room, one in the den, could be spending an extra $100 or more per cooling season simply because they skipped the Energy Star filter when they were shopping. That is real money for no additional comfort. Now let us talk about portable AC units, because I want to be straight with you here. In my experience, portable units are the most consistently disappointing option most people can choose. The pitch sounds good, no installation, move it from room to room, works in any window. The reality is that single hose portable units pull warm air from inside the room to exhaust the heat outside, and in doing so, they create a slight negative pressure that draws warm outside air back in through every crack and gap in the room. You are fighting yourself. Dual hose portable units solve some of that, but they are bulkier and louder, and the efficiency still lags well behind a window unit of comparable BTU rating. They also require a window for the exhaust hose, so the mobility you are paying for is largely theoretical. I have watched folks spend $600 or $700 on a portable unit that never actually got their bedroom comfortable on a hot August night, when a $300 window unit would have done the job quietly and well. The portable unit has one legitimate use case: a room where window installation is truly impossible, like a room with only skylights or no accessible window at all. Otherwise, I would steer you past it. Mini split systems are where the conversation gets more interesting. And for a certain type of homeowner, they are genuinely the best choice available. A mini split, also called a ductless system, consists of an outdoor compressor unit connected by refrigerant lines to one or more indoor air handlers mounted on the wall. No ductwork required. The advantages are real. They are quiet, often dramatically quieter than window units. They can heat as well as cool, which matters in climates with real winters. And the efficiency ratings on a good mini split are among the highest available for home cooling. A single zone mini split to cool one large room or an open floor plan typically runs from $800 to $2,000 for the equipment alone. And you will need a licensed HVAC technician to handle the refrigerant lines. Plan on another $500 to $1,500 for installation, depending on where you live and how complex the job is. Multi-zone systems that handle several rooms from one outdoor unit cost considerably more. The case for a mini split is strongest when you have a home addition, a finished basement, a garage apartment, or any space that does not tie into your existing ductwork. They are also a smart choice for older homes where adding ducts would be invasive and expensive. The upfront cost is real, but the operating efficiency over a decade of summers can close that gap. To make that concrete, a single zone mini split from a manufacturer like Mitsubishi, Daikin, or LG carrying a SEER rating of around 20 or higher will use roughly 30 to 40% less electricity than a window unit of equivalent BTU capacity running at a SEER of 12. If you are cooling a 500 square foot home office in a climate like the Carolinas or the mid-Atlantic states from May through September, that difference can represent $80 to $120 in annual savings on your electric bill. Over 10 years, the math starts to justify the higher installation costs, particularly if you factor in that a quality mini split from one of those established manufacturers carries a compressor warranty of 5 to 10 years and has a service life regularly exceeding 15 years when maintained properly. Central air conditioning is what most people default to thinking about when they imagine a whole home solution. If you already have a forced air furnace and ductwork in place, adding central AC or replacing an aging central system is often the most seamless path. A central system cools every room connected to the duct network, and a quality unit with a programmable thermostat gives you real control over comfort and cost. Replacing a central AC system, including the outdoor condenser and indoor air handler or coil, typically runs somewhere between $4,000 and $10,000 installed. A wide range because home size, regional labor costs, and equipment tier all vary considerably. Here is the thing folks miss about central air. The ductwork matters as much as the equipment. A high-efficiency central unit attached to leaky, poorly insulated ducts is throwing money out into the attic. Before you invest in new central equipment, have someone do a duct inspection. Sealing and insulating the ducts is not glamorous work, but it can improve system efficiency and your comfort meaningfully, and it costs far less than new equipment. If you do not have existing ductwork and you are considering adding it from scratch, the cost climbs steeply, and a multi-zone mini-split system often becomes the more practical answer. The Department of Energy has published figures suggesting that duct leakage in a typical American home accounts for 20 to 30% of the energy used by a central HVAC system. If your annual cooling costs are running $1,200, you could be losing $240 to $360 of that straight through duct gaps into unconditioned space. A professional duct sealing job using mastic sealant or foil tape on accessible ductwork combined with added insulation in the attic runs might cost a homeowner $800 to $1,500 in labor and materials, and can pay for itself within 3 to 5 cooling seasons before a single dollar is spent on new equipment. Now let us talk about sizing, because this is the single most common and most costly mistake I see. Bigger is not better with air conditioning. It genuinely is not. An oversized unit cools the air so fast that it shuts off before it has had time to remove the humidity from the space. You end up with a room that feels cold but clammy, and a unit that cycles on and off constantly, which is hard on the compressor and shortens the life of the equipment. An undersized unit, on the other hand, runs constantly and never quite gets ahead of the heat. The right size is the right size. The industry uses BTUs, British thermal units, to measure cooling capacity. A rough starting point that holds up reasonably well is around 5,000 to 6,000 BTUs for a small room up to about 250 square feet, scaling up from there. But that number needs to be adjusted for ceiling height, sun exposure, how many people regularly occupy the space, and regional climate. For a whole home central system, a proper manual J-load calculation done by an HVAC professional is the honest standard, not the shortcut of just matching the size of whatever unit came out. If a contractor gives you a quote without doing that assessment, I would be skeptical of their work. The guide linked in the description below covers the sizing math in plain language, so you can go into any contractor conversation with a baseline understanding of what your home actually needs. Efficiency ratings are worth understanding, even if you do not need to become an expert. The SEER rating, Seasonal Energy Efficiency Ratio, tells you how efficiently a central AC or mini-split system converts electricity into cooling over an entire season. A higher SEER number means lower operating costs. Federal minimum standards have moved upward in recent years, so even a minimum compliant new unit is meaningfully more efficient than equipment from 15 or 20 years ago. Units with higher SEER ratings cost more upfront. The honest calculation is this. If you live in a climate where you run the AC hard for 4 to 6 months a year, the premium for a higher efficiency unit can pay back over several years through lower electric bills. If you live somewhere you run the AC 4 weeks a year, spending significantly more for the highest SEER rating available may never pencil out. Talk to a local HVAC contractor who knows your climate and your utility rates. They can give you a rough payback estimate that is grounded in reality rather than sales literature. For window units, the equivalent rating is the EER, Energy Efficiency Ratio, and the same general principle applies. Higher is better, but the sweet spot depends on how often you run it. As a practical example, stepping up from a 14 SEER central system to an 18 SEER system on a 2,000 square foot home in a place like Nashville or Charlotte might add $800 to $1,200 to the installed equipment cost. At current average electricity rates, roughly 13 cents per kilowatt hour nationally as of 2024, and assuming you run the system about 1,400 hours per cooling season, that upgrade could save somewhere between $120 and $180 annually. That puts your payback window at roughly 6 to 9 years, which is well within the expected service life of the equipment. In Phoenix or Houston, where systems run closer to 2,000 hours per season, that payback compresses to 4 or 5 years. On brand reliability, I want to be straightforward with you. The honest answer is that the major established brands, the ones that have been manufacturing HVAC equipment for decades, tend to be more reliable than newer entrants or heavily discounted store brand options. The brand names you recognize from your parents' generation are recognizable for a reason. That said, no brand is immune to a bad production run, and the quality of the installation matters at least as much as the brand name on the unit. A well-installed mid-tier unit from a reliable manufacturer will outperform a premium unit that was sized wrong or slapped in by someone who cut corners. When I evaluate a purchase like this, I look at 3 things. Parts availability. Can a local technician get the components they need without a 6-week wait? Warranty terms. Is the compressor covered for at least 5 years? And local service. Is there a technician in your area who actually works on this brand? A unit with a beautiful spec sheet but no local service network is a liability. If you are at a stage in life where you are done dealing with repair calls and you want something that quietly does its job without drama. Spending a little more on a well-regarded brand with a strong warranty and established local service presence is money well spent. The folks I have seen regret their purchase, most often bought the cheapest option available without thinking about the 10-year picture. If I were putting this all together for you right now, and you asked me to just tell you what to do, here is how I would think through it. If you need to cool 1 or 2 rooms and you have standard double-hung windows, start with a well-sized Energy Star window unit from an established brand. Keep the filter clean and it will serve you for years. If you have a space that cannot take a window unit, a room addition, an attic conversion, a space without ducts, look seriously at a single zone mini split. The upfront cost is higher, but so is the long-term satisfaction. If you are replacing an aging central system in a home that already has decent ductwork, get at least 3 quotes. Make sure every contractor is doing a proper load calculation and choose a SEER rating that matches your climate and how heavily you actually use it. Skip the portable units unless there is no other option. And whatever you buy, read the maintenance requirements and actually follow them. A clean filter alone will extend the life of any AC unit more than any premium feature on the spec sheet. A lot of folks ask me why the stores keep pushing the units with the most features and the highest price tags. The answer is simple. The margins are better. There is no financial incentive for a retail floor to steer you toward the straightforward, correctly sized unit that will run quietly for 15 years. But that is the one that will actually serve you. Before I wrap up, the ebook in the description below pulls all of this together. The sizing guidance, the efficiency ratings, the questions to ask a contractor. It is a good thing to have in hand before you make a final decision. This week, measure the room or rooms you need to cool and write down the square footage. Note whether the windows are standard double hung or something else. This month, get at least 2 quotes if you are looking at a mini split or central system, and ask each contractor explicitly how they size the recommendation. Do not let that question go unanswered. I want to hear from you. What AC question has been nagging at you for years, or what did you wish you had known before the last time you bought one? Drop it in the comments. I read them and I answer when I can. Also, if you are wondering whether a heat pump might be a smarter choice than a standard AC for your situation, that is exactly what we cover in the next video. It is worth a look. If this has been useful to you, hitting subscribe is the best way to stay in the loop when we cover the next topic. The guide is in the description below. Take a look when you are ready. I will see you in the next one.